5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, Internet peeps, and welcome to episode 4 of Big Trouble in Little Podcast. I am Joe Dubs.
And I'm Andy.
And get ready for this fucking crazy ride of an episode because it's episode 4. And this is 4 straight episodes, everybody. Four straight weeks. A little clap. Golf clap. I'm not going to clap your ears out. So get strapped in and get ready for Big Trouble in a Little Podcast, where only dreams can kill a dream. So Andy, what the hell have you been up to?
I played a bunch more Splatoon and some Final Fantasy VI, and I went to a beer festival and I saw a movie, Atomic Blonde.
What is Atomic Blonde, by the way? What was the synopsis of that movie?
What's the best way to put it? It's based on a comic. It takes place in 1989, like in Berlin, right around the time that the wall comes down. And it's about a spy, and she's trying to figure out. She's trying to get a list of like all these undercover and double agents. I mean, it's a pretty played out story as far as that goes, but it's about that. I liked it pretty well.
Right?
What's that?
Charlize Theron? I don't know how to say it. Okay.
Yeah, her and what's his name? James McAvoy, and John Goodman's in it, sort of.
Oh, okay. I always mix up John Goodman and John Candy. I don't know why.
John Candy's dead. So.
Yeah. Well, these days CGI, I don't know, but that would make no sense anyway.
No, but it was pretty good. Like, there were parts about it I liked, and there were parts about it that I thought could use some work. It was entertaining enough. It was more or less, we got out of the beer festival, and you can't drive, and it's super hot, so I always go straight from there to the movies, and I sober up in the nice air conditioning and watch a movie, and just whatever, starting soon, pretty much. We talked about seeing Spider-Man, but there was another hour wait, so Atomic Blonde.
Spider-Man was such a good movie. You need to see that movie. But we've been playing Salmon Run every time we've been playing Splatoon 2. So yes. Addicting. We talked about how, like, it's not open 24/7. They're actually scheduled times when this Salmon Run is up. And we talked about how maybe it's because they have a separate server for it, or they don't have the resources where it could always be open. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's more special when it's open.
Yeah, that was the only thing I could come up with. Is maybe it incentivizes people to play at a specific time. Ooh, it is open right now though. I double checked on the Nintendo app here. It's open 8 a.m. today till 8 a.m. tomorrow, so we can play later if we want.
Cool. I like how they change up the weapons. I like how they throw like these curveballs out of nowhere. Like when we started having like the night levels, and then all the barbecue grills with the fish were coming. Yeah,
those are scary. And then sometimes there's fog, and the first couple times you do high tide, it just, oh man, it's tough.
Yeah, the high tide gets you. It's just a lot of variables, and hopefully we'll get more maps. But even though it's only one map that we played so far, it's still interesting, and there's so many things that could happen. The only thing that sucks is sometimes your teammates, they leave, and it could really screw you up when you get those high tides that the enemies or the bosses are just spawning and you only have 3 people. It really sucks.
I know we won one time with 3 people, though, and I was pretty proud of that. Oh, I figured out, I didn't figure it out. One of the really cool features of Splatoon is when you're just, like, out in the plaza, people have drawings and stuff. A lot of them are, like, drawing stuff to help you figure out the game. And one of them helped me figure out, in Salmon Run, you D-rank only if you don't make it to Wave 3. If you make it to Wave 3 and then fail, you don't lose any of your ranking, so your pay will stay the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense when you think about it. But I hadn't noticed that, and that's interesting to me. Like, the game doesn't just lay it all out for you. It doesn't tell you that there's going to be night missions and how to get your ranking just right, and it doesn't tell you ahead of time what weapons there's going to be. It's just you're there and you're like, oh, I guess I have a Gatling gun. Okay, cool.
And that's the great thing too, because if you had to pick your own weapons, I think it would be super easy.
Yeah, I think everyone would have quicker guns, the dualies, the submachine guns, maybe even the umbrellas at this point. I like
Mm.
that they're rolling out the weapons slowly too. That's interesting.
Yeah, what's great about the game is that you have these stores in the lobby area, and pretty much like they could surprise you with, like, the whole thing with the ketchup and mayo. Like having that is pretty cool. And then when they update new stuff, they have those like podcast people telling you what to do. So the game, in my opinion, is really really good. Like
Yeah, it's fun.
it's getting better. Things I've been doing. If anybody was here during the pre-show area, I signed up for college, so I'm gonna be doing creative writing, going for my bachelor's degree, so that I could do screenplay writing. Hopefully, to you know, do a TV, game, or movie that will be written by me. That is my dream job, and that's what I'm gonna be going for. So that's what I've been stressing out about lately. Doing student loans, doing pretty much talking to my job about scheduling, because you know how jobs can get like, oh well, you're gonna have a set schedule, that means you're not gonna have all the hours. Got that set already. I'm like, I need this money, so I need these hours. Can you do it? And they said yes. So that's cool. Other than that, I haven't been watching any movies. Been interested in some games that are coming out that we'll talk about later. You've been playing Final Fantasy VI, right?
Yes, sir.
How far are you in that game?
I don't know. I think I'm somewhere between a quarter and a third in. If someone who's listening has played it, I just got the airship, so maybe that'll give you a reference point.
I really want to play Final Fantasy VIII again.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I wonder
real
if it's on
polarizing.
PS4.
I liked it.
Final Fantasy. What a great series that never is going to be the final one. It's just always going to be Final Fantasy.
I hope not.
Other than that, anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so. I just saw the one movie. Other than that, it's been all Final Fantasy and all Splatoon.
Alrighty. So let's get into our first news. So Andy, the Walt Disney Company, what are they doing?
They announced, I'm kind of surprised it took them this long to do it, honestly, but they've announced that they are going to pull all their nonsense from Netflix and wherever else it might be. And they're going to launch their own streaming service in 2019. So there's a while before it's going to happen, but something to bear in mind is if they launch a streaming service, that means it's not only going to be like all the classic Disney stuff and also Disney television, but it's also going to entail Marvel, it's going to entail Star Wars, it's going to entail that kind of stuff. So it's all going to be one streaming service, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to just have to get it. But it's still up in the air how exactly this is affecting the Netflix-Marvel partnership with the Defenders and stuff. But right now, all they've said is they're going to do it. They're doing that, and it was announced alongside a sports streaming one, I think. I don't know. I read this too long ago now, but the interesting part was that there will be a Disney streaming service, a Hulu, Netflix style on demand digital delivery service, and I don't know, it sounds pretty interesting. Price will be a big deal, but they always keep all these movies like in the vault and stuff, and they're always so stinking expensive. So something like this could really pay off.
I hope they don't take away from the Marvel and Netflix kind of deal going. I hope like maybe they're just talking about movies and they can keep the Netflix shows on the Netflix service, but Disney just finding another way to make money. I think it would be like $10, maybe 10 a month. I could also see them going $20 to be greedy, or maybe like a 2-tier system. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. That seems to be the way the wind's blowing nowadays. Everyone does commercial supported, or you pay one time a year and pay less, stuff like that.
I mean, it's going to be really good for the Star Wars and the Marvel, like seeing all the Avengers, seeing all the Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff, because when you go on Netflix, you have all these movies that you have to wait in order to probably all the legal issues and stuff that has to go through with Netflix and Disney. But I really want to have like see episode 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, and 6, and then 7 and 8. You know, not like I have to go through Amazon Prime to go rent it or something just so that I can watch it. I don't know. It's great. You know, there's a lot of animated fucking movies that are going to be on there that everybody's going to like.
I hope so.
It's a good plan. That means just more money that people are going to be doing just for having a streaming service. Moving on to a video game, No Man's Sky. So, a little background on this game. I don't know if we did talk it on one of our old podcasts, but they promised that this game would have like trillions of planets that were generated, that the life on the planets would be pretty much have life, look like it's populated and everything. When the game came out, it was like bare bones. Just like every other game that comes out these days, is that they have like this early access kind of feel to it, where it's like, here's the world, but we're just going to add stuff really, really slowly. And when you have a game that's really hyped up like that and then shows up with bare bones, it pisses off a lot of the fan base and all that. But anyway, after a year, the game finally does have multiplayer. Kinda. Now, the kinda part is that you will see an orb. Kind of like, do you remember Fable? Where when you're pretty much in the land and everything, and you see like an orb just floating around.
Right? It's like a portal situation.
Yeah, kinda. But I think it's up to 15 people in an area that you'll see orbs just like floating around, and you could talk to the person. So pretty much it's like a glorified chat room in a sense when you see the orb. Now, they did upgrade some things, like they have like a Minecraft thing where you could build bases, you could cut the rock on the planet so that it's kind of like your own fort thing if you ever played Fallout 4, where you customize everything like that. They upgraded the life so that there's more aliens and stuff, and there's more things to do with trade. So yeah, so I know there's a big fan base that is out there right now.
Is there?
Oh yeah, there's actually a fan base that have great patience for waiting for the patch.
That was going to be my next question. Was this too little too late? Like, I was aware of the whole big hullabaloo when the game came out. A lot of people wanted to stand by it, and a lot of other people said this game's complete bullshit, and they kind of butted heads. But I kind of stopped paying attention to it, more or less, just because the game looked gorgeous. But then after I read about all the letdown that was involved with it, it kind of dropped off my radar, and I haven't heard that much about it since then.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all interesting as well. I thought I'd seen recently that it was like $20 on the PlayStation Store or something recently.
Yeah, they did cut the price, so it might be worth it. I don't know. I really don't want to download this big freaking game, which was like 21 gigabytes or something like that.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Because I don't have time for that. But if you're wondering and you didn't buy it on day one, where everybody blew their shit up pretty much when they were crying liar liar to the PR guy, which technically he did lie.
The Hello Games guy. Yeah, there was a bunch of stuff where he just blatantly said something, and then it clearly isn't in the game. And I don't know how much of it. I mean, he did lie sometimes. He had to, but I wonder what was cut that he thought would be in there. It was such a small team. Maybe they.
I think
this conversation was had. Yes.
I think they were pressured pretty much by Sony, and like
probably, especially after it got all the press it did.
Yeah, because they were on like Conan O'Brien and all. They were on like late shows and stuff showing off this game. It was a pretty big deal. And then this game comes out and it's like, oh, you could fly around, you could collect resources. I guess that's cool. Then you just see that like it's like every other early access game where you're just like, so you do nothing until they start adding stuff.
Need something?
But if you're a fan and you were happily patient, you finally got the game that you were looking for. So, from space to robots in time, James Cameron is doing the next Terminator. And it's going to be a sequel.
When you say doing, what do you mean? Producing, directing, writing, screenplay,
Directing.
Okay.
Hold on, I lost my place for a second.
Hmm.
Just wondering, just double checking. I heard that he was directing. Yep, he's directing. But anyway, the sequel is going to be in the future, because we need to see more of the future apparently. And Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, who is usually the T-800, is not going to be the T-800. He's going to be a human. So you're going to learn about how Skynet got the human Arnold character DNA to make pretty much the Terminator.
Did the last Terminator movie like undo some of the timeline though, or what? What was up with that?
Yeah, Genesis pretty much. In the beginning of the movie, it starts off like Terminator 1, where Arnold goes up to Bill Paxton and shit, and then out of nowhere you see like an old Arnold shoot the Terminator from Terminator 1. And pretty much they went back. Some time traveling shit happened where they went back even further to try to kill Sarah Connor as a child. And then I believe John Connor sent a Terminator back to save Sarah Connor when she was a kid. And then that messed up the timelines. And then apparently Judgment Day didn't happen in the 90s. It happened in 2017. So
how convenient.
Yeah, so they went to 2017 and pretty much, quote unquote, stopped Skynet and killed him. But that never happens in movies where villains, if they want to keep a franchise alive, there's always a twist, which I won't ruin. But yeah, I found it interesting that they're going this route where you're going to learn about the T-800, that origin story. But I don't know. I don't want another Terminator.
Me neither. Seems like another thing that no one asked for except for Hollywood hotshots that wanted money.
Mm-hmm.
I felt the same way about like more Alien, more Blade Runner, more everything. I mean, to the same extent, kind of more Star Wars, more Star Trek too. I mean, people wanted more Star Wars, so I guess withdrawn on that. But no one asked for more Terminator. I feel like it was fine. But I don't know, if it's good, then fine. It just has to prove that it has a right to exist by being good.
Well, the only positive I see right now is that James Cameron is on this, so maybe it might go back to what Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 was. But my main thing is the rating. It has to be a rated R film, but I have a feeling it's going to be PG-13, and that's what can taint a director like James Cameron, who has this vision of what Terminator is supposed to be, but have to water wash it pretty much to fit the crowd, because they don't want to be a lot of nudity or a lot of violence. I don't know. I just don't want another Terminator. Yeah. And I don't want them to reboot it in any way, even though the last one kind of did do a reboot.
Sure. Hey, what happened to? Weren't they making another Conan? That was the one that I actually was excited about. I think that was the one that I wanted.
I don't know what happened to Conan. I know they were filming.
I thought they said Arnold was on board and he was going to be like the old King Conan. I was like, that sounds badass. Now they're announcing all this other stuff that I'm not really invested in.
Hey, don't you hate like when they have like these properties like Ghostbusters, Terminator? They just go, all right, we're gonna do this sequel, but then we're gonna like do some crazy shit where it changes the timeline, and there's a reboot, kind of like how X-Men Days of Future Past, where they completely change fucking everything. And just
Didn't lose much there though. I mean, X-Men 3 was awful.
Well, yeah, that kind of needed a reboot, but then again, you waste all that time and money just to go, hey, that never happened, and then you're like, yeah, it did.
It's in their best interest. If it was terrible, I mean, if it was good, you're not going to see that kind of a wiping, a reboot, or whatever.
I just rather have it like a clean reboot where they just don't use the same actors and go, hey, things are changing. Here you go.
Or they could just write something new.
True. Which Ghostbusters should have been the sequel. I would rather have the females in it, but have like the Dan Aykroyd and the others and all that stuff to be like, and Bill Murray to be like, all right, these are our either daughters or nieces and stuff, or just, hey, we're getting old. Do you want to run this kind of thing? And have them write it, but that's not how it went down.
Sure.
Let's talk about Sonic Mania.
Please.
So it's getting good reviews.
Yeah, it is.
Like 8 and 9s.
Yeah, like I expected it to be getting pretty good reviews, but even people who are normally really reserved in giving high scores are like, wow, this game is almost perfect. It's like, what could they improve?
Yeah, I was kind of like lost in translation. I was like, so Sonic Mania, is that like a remastered? So it's kind of like people are describing it as like a mixtape where they have levels that are copying other levels from the old Sonic games.
Well, here's what it is. It's a direct sequel to 1, 2, and 3, and 3 also includes N Knuckles. So it's a direct sequel to those, and you revisit some of the levels from those games. And it I guess at the beginning of the levels, it does kind of a clever thing where most of them start identically, like all the same platforms are still there, but then stuff changes so drastically over the course of the next couple of acts that it's almost a completely different level. And then on top of that, it's not just remixing the old levels. They've invented several new levels. All the music's new. They have one new kind of special stage, but then they also brought back the ones from 3 and Knuckles. You can play the whole game as Sonic or Sonic Tails or Knuckles, kind of Sonic 3 and Knuckles style. It pulls enemies and badniks from all the games, which is really cool, and it kind of dresses some of them up a little more. There's more going on the screen at a time. Everything's pretty. The music's great. It's so a remix is the right thing to say, but it almost seems unfair to leave out. Oh, but there is a crud load of new stuff. Like they didn't just remix the old games and then slap a price tag on it, which probably would have sold. They really did. It reminds me of Nintendo's approach to things. Like Nintendo refuses to just re-release something. They gotta beef it up and make it a little better. They did that more, I think. I mean, I haven't played the game yet.
Yeah.
They made new levels and stuff. There's a new story, there's new bosses, etc.
Yeah, the only negative thing I heard about it is that it happens too quickly and they want more. So that's good. That's a good thing. That could pretty much have more 2D Sonic games coming out.
I'm worried I'm gonna get it, stay up all night and beat that some bitch.
Mm-hmm. And what's also positive about this game is that digitally it's $20. Only $20.
Yes.
I checked that on the Nintendo shop and I was like, holy crap! I thought it would be at least $30 and maybe $40, but I'm like 20. That's a good fucking price right there. And I love
it. Really is. I hope this game does well. I hope it sends a message to Sega, and I hope that for a change, when they do something right, they don't go out of their way to do it wrong the next time. They gotta keep what worked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Until then, next week we'll probably be reviewing the game in a sense, or just talking about it and how we're fucking loving it on our Nintendo. You're getting it for the Switch, right?
I am.
Nice. Same here. Because it reminds me of the Game Gear when I used to play Sonic.
Yeah.
Have this big handheld and playing Sonic.
I was originally getting it on PS4, but I've decided on Switch instead.
Yeah, Switch needs more love. But last piece of news. Han Solo apparently is going to be in episode 8.
What's your source on this? Why do you think this?
Well, it's on IGN and other websites
What's
too.
their source? Like, did someone tell them, or did they see a screenshot? Did Harrison Ford say something?
I think John Boyega and like the actors were kind of hinting that he's going to be in there some form or fashion.
So it could be a flashback or a recording, or let's see, it's Star Wars, so I guess it could be a clone or something.
I don't want that in a sense, but I have a feeling they might go that route because let's say Snoke is Darth Plagueis from the canon of Star Wars. Even though some of the books are non-canon, maybe they might use it. I don't know. But he was very big into cloning people. And maybe I won't say that Harrison Ford or Han Solo that got killed in 7 was a clone. He could have died and somehow Snoke took Han Solo's DNA.
Some say he could even stop people from dying.
True. So that's another thing. I just don't want that to happen, and I'm pretty sure Harrison Ford is like, I'm done with this.
I really don't like. I hate. If a character's dead, just leave him dead because it's gonna completely take away from what you've done.
Because I hope they're not going because of the fans were like crying and stuff, and they want him back. Because you just gotta kill. You stick with your story. Stop listening to the fans. They're always gonna watch. Just leave him dead.
It'll be something. I'm sure if there's a recording or, like a flashback or, hey, remember this? Or there's a message he left Chewie about what to do with the Falcon or something like that. So he can be in it, but Han Solo shouldn't be alive.
Yeah. Maybe they're going to do a flashback, so maybe he was part of Rey's life somehow. Maybe he put her on that planet, but for somebody that we don't know yet, who is her parents, that we're gonna find out hopefully in episode 8. It could be many things. He could somehow have the Force in him. Maybe they're gonna say he has the Force and he's a Force spirit, but even though that'd be stupid, because I don't think he had the Force in him. But then you never know. I don't know. I think it's stupid. Like we said, if he's dead, he's dead. And I understand that they could use like flashbacks and all that stuff, but keep him dead. I don't want him anymore.
You're bringing him back. Bring back Darth Maul too. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Just do it all.
They did it in the animation movie.
Yeah, I guess that's canon, right?
Yep.
It's interesting. He had like robot legs and shit.
Yeah, which was really awesome. And I wish that was in like live action movie, not in a cartoon.
Yeah, get some robot legs for Ray Park.
So let's get into some coming attractions. So 2 games are coming out tomorrow. Obviously Sonic Mania.
Woo!
And there is a cyberpunk horror game coming out it's called Observer. You're a detective that somehow in that future you can go into people's minds and solve cases, and pretty much your son, which is dead, contacts you in your mind, and as a father he's pretty much trying to figure out where this transmission is coming from. And like Cyberpunk, there's like this robot monster that's like following him and everything. And it has like a Outlast feel to it, where you're being chased, and there's like jump scares that are probably gonna make me shit my pants because I hate jump scares. But I believe that's coming out for PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and same thing with Sonic Mania, which is coming out for all platforms. So if you want a fun game like Sonic, or do you want to get scared shitless, then get Observer.
I'm gonna get that Sonic.
I'm getting Sonic. $20.
After Sonic, we didn't touch on this, but Hellblade looks really good. I want to play that too.
Yeah. Play that game.
Came out this week, right?
Yeah. Oh, you're obviously gonna get it on PS4. I heard if you put headphones on, because she has psychosis, she hears voices.
Yeah, she hears voices throughout the game.
Like they did 3D audio, so like when certain voices you'll hear from like the back of your head, you'll kind of hear it like it's from the back of your head.
I guess they'll say shit like behind you and stuff like that sometimes.
Yep. And it's $30. Can't go wrong with that. And it's
mid-tier indie AAA, which is a dumb title, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Ninja Theory wants to call it, and that's great. I'm sick of there only being 2 games, $20 indie titles and $60 AAA nonsense.
Did you hear the Jim Sterling thing about Hellblade?
I think so. Oh yeah, he gave it a 1, and then he backpedaled. Yeah, I know about that.
Yeah, because there was like a bug where he couldn't finish the game, and he got really pissed off, so he gave it a 1.
I kind of understand being really angry at a game, but also, and you know, he can't. Kudos to him for not just standing by a dumb decision or going silent on it and trying to erase his tracks. Like he came out and said, "Look, I did this. I shouldn't have. It was a knee-jerk reaction. I'm sorry. I gave it a real score." So you know, I mean, good on him for realizing that what he did was a dumb move.
Mm-hmm. And I've done the same thing where I'm like, "Oh, this is fucking stupid," and then you go back to it and you're like, it's a good game.
Yeah,
just ran into a bug. So let's get into some deals of the week. So 2 games at Best Buy that are on sale for both Xbox One and PS4 is For Honor and Final Fantasy 15, running at $30.
It's a good deal for Final Fantasy 15.
Mm-hmm. And you got $30. Let's say you have a little extra money there, get the season pass, and then you get all those download content.
Yep.
For less,
which have been pretty good so far, albeit short.
Mm-hmm. I really want them. And For Honor apparently is a good game. I mean, I have it. I only played a few minutes of it, but apparently they didn't. I don't
know. It's another one of those games that I feel like didn't deserve to be $60, but maybe it deserves to be $30. I guess.
Yeah, they did a patch and everything where things are better. So another game that you have to wait for a patch for it to get better, or the game that it's supposed to be.
Right.
Other than that, you have anything else to add? Anything that pops in your brain?
No.
All right. We are going to be working on new segments for our show. Something that involves watching a movie and talking about it. So there's a hint, I guess. We'll go into more detail next week when I have a segment name and pretty much how the show is going to go when we get to that episode. Things are going to be changing, like how, like production wise, I'm going to make sure I'm going to show a video of like gameplay and stuff. So like production wise, things are going to get a little better for people that do watch it on YouTube or Twitch. Other than that, I have nothing else to say because the news was kind of meh, but Sonic Mania has made me hype.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening to episode 4 of Big Trouble in Little Podcast. Remember to like and subscribe to us on YouTube. And remember, you sit tight, hold the fort, and keep the home fires burning. And if we're not back by dawn, call the president. See you later.